Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video from the Purple Penny. My name's Mark. I own and run the Purple Penny along with my wife Catherine. We're a coin and banknote dealer in Adelaide in South Australia. We buy and sell coins, banknotes and collectibles, also distributors for the Royal Australian Mint. We try to have these videos every Monday at about this time, which is 12 PM Adelaide time. We didn't have one last week because we ducked over to Melbourne last Friday after we closed up the shop. Went along to the Ander Coin and Banknote Expo in Melbourne Town Hall on Saturday. Had a day off on Sunday, and then on Monday we did the rounds of all the coin shops in Melbourne that we could find. It was good to have a few days away. We bought a bit of stuff. Didn't pay for the trip, but we did buy a bit of stuff, and a good time was had. It was good to catch up with Peter, who's watching. We had dinner with Peter on Monday night, and then also I met quite a few video watchers in the expo itself, people tapping me on the shoulder, talking to me, so that was that's always interesting. And I got to sit with an Adelaide coin dealer as he was pillaging the inventory of a dealer in Melbourne, trying to find stock to sell back in here in Adelaide. So a good time was had. We missed out on the video last week, but we're back this week. We're going to continue with this new format, which is to not have much coin news because it takes too much time to prepare. And we'll keep doing this until I get the new computer up and running, which I have the computer now. I just got to actually find the time to do something with it. Now, topic of the day. We've got two topics of the day. We'll see how we go with them. The first one is Operation Fastbuck, which you may or may not have heard of. Operation Fastbuck is the code name for the operation that the Reserve Bank of Australia used to distribute decimal coins and banknotes around Australia in November and December 1965 and January and February 1966. Odd to give it a name, but basically what they had is they had some, you can see the picture there, that picture's been supplied by one of the people who was involved in Operation Fastbuck. They had heavy haulers with basically safes on the back of them, 3 safes, and armoured cars that would go out with those heavy haulers, and then both vehicles had an armed escort. And you see the little car on the right hand side there. All the vehicles contained armed federal police plus other various government employees. Basically the trucks would drive to different localities around Australia, and the armoured cars would unload the cash from the trucks and then distribute it to various banks in and around Australia. Now, all the first-hand information we have is from a gentleman called Charlie Brown, who was involved in Operation Fastbuck back in 1965 and 1966. So we'll just go to the next slide here. There was about 6, according to Charlie, he took part in 6 4 to 5 day operations in the few months leading to decimal changeover in 1966. For any convoys that went to country areas, the staff and the trucks would be holed up for the night in local hotels, and local police would actually turn out to help guard the decimal currency while it was on the truck. And interestingly, in the whole operation where they transferred 600 million coins and 150 million banknotes, there wasn't any robberies. The written history of Operation Fastbuck suggests that it was a joint operation between the government and TNT, but Charlie, who worked in Victoria, said that the whole operation was entirely run by the public service, and it was a joint operation between the Reserve Bank of Australia, the government stores and transport drivers, and the federal police. So he said there was no private industry involved at all, and I gather that Charlie was one of the drivers in one of those escort vehicles which you could see earlier. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm talking about this. It's because of something we purchased at the show last week. At the conclusion of the operation, the Reserve Bank held a function to thank the 70 drivers that were involved in Operation Fastbuck, and each was presented with a Fastbuck wallet, and that's a PVC wallet that contained a set of the 1966 decimal coins. The PVC wallet is a sort of a pale green colour, it's black on the inside, and each one is embossed with the driver's name. So they believe that there were about 70 of these wallets issued, and first-hand recollections that we've heard directly from Charlie, and also one of the recipients told another dealer that we know, that at that particular function where those folders were presented to drivers, a lot of the drivers took the decimal coins out of their folders and spent them at the bar and threw the wallets in the bin. What does that mean? It means that of that original 70 wallets, very few still exist. Now 70 is an incredibly small number for a decimal collectible anyway. Think about relative scarcity of supposedly rare decimal things like the Heritage set, for example, the 2010 Heritage set, which I believe has 400 sets. Supposedly scarce $2 coins like the Mars $2 coin, which has a mintage of over 10,000. So just being 70 of these wallets available, there are very few and far between. And maybe 10 of them are still in existence, maybe 10. We know of 5 or 10 different ones. Catherine keeps a little log of the wallets that pop up on the market. I think we've had 4 in the last 15 years. That's how many we've had. And we were lucky enough when we were in Melbourne to be able to buy this one. They're the sorts of things that if you see them at a coin show and the price is reasonable and you're into it, then it's the sort of thing that you have to buy, because there is a good chance that you won't see one again. And many years ago, Catherine and I went to the ANDA show in Brisbane, and there was a Fastbuck wallet on the table right near the entrance. We thought, we'll buy that, but we'll just do a lap of the hall first and come back and get it, and by the time we got back it was gone. So there's a good chance we'll never see that one again, but we were lucky enough to buy this one. So hopefully that's clear there. And you can just see the coins in there. And this one is made out to O.S. Hardy, who we believe was in Victoria, so this was sold to a dealer in Victoria. And it just has a set of regular 1966 coins there, and I guess the folder is not all about the folder. It's not all about the coins, it is about the folder. So as I said, I think this is it's either the 4th or the 5th one that we've handled. They are genuinely rare. I'll put up some pictures of it so you can just see it in better detail. There's the front of the wallet there. It's got that pale green colour with the RBA logo in gold embossing on the centre there. And the inside, you can see there, the gentleman's name is embossed there, O.S. Hardy. And I'll just read out what it says on the inside. It says, presented by the Reserve Bank of Australia to O.S. Hardy as a memento of his participation in Operation Fastbuck, November 1965 to February 1966. So as far as decimal collectibles go, this is a genuinely rare thing, and it's an interesting piece of Australian numismatic history, and we are always feel quite privileged to hold one. This one is now spoken for. One of the people that's watching the video has spoken for it, so it's going to move on to a new home where it will be treasured and no doubt put out on display for other people to enjoy. So I guess Catherine and I are honoured to have played a little part in its history, and the pictures that we've got of it will go into Catherine's records so that she can continue maintaining her list of known Fastbuck wallets. So that's Operation Fastbuck and Fastbuck wallets. Let's say a few hellos here before we move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Hello Peter, hello Wendy, hello Gwen, hello John, hello Peter, hello Catherine, hello Rand, hello Mark, Mark says, "Hi Mark, it was nice meeting you at the Ander in Melbourne. We were lined up behind you and had a bit of a chat while waiting to get in. No worries, Mark, it was good to talk to you. Hello Greg, hello Cam, hello Patrick, hello Bevan, hello Veronica, and hello Nelson. Thank you everyone for joining in." Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today was some genuinely interesting news about an Australian coin, and it's slightly unusual to hear of an Australian coin being talked about in the context that perhaps I've spoken about before with regards to ancient Greek and ancient Roman coins. A 1813 holy dollar has been confiscated by the federal police from a collector in Western Australia. That was confiscated in August last year and has been sent back to Poland, of all places. The coin itself was... This is why this computer is going in the bin, because it's dropped all of the network drives, so our images have fallen away and I can't show you my slides. So anyway, this particular coin was bought in 1913 by a Polish collector at an auction, and that particular Polish collector died in 1931, and he donated the coin to the local scientific society, and that scientific society then passed it on to a local museum, and the coin itself sat in that museum until sometime between 2011 and 2016. So we'll just put up the slides here because my computer's just decided to come back to life. There we go. So there's a picture of the holy dollar there. So in 1914, a Polish collector, Walery Amrogowicz, purchases a holy dollar at auction. He died in 1931 and donated the coin to the Turin Scientific Society, who then donated it to the Turin District Museum. How it got into this auction where the gentleman bought it in 1914 is not really known. We can't really find anything out about that. I should just say thank you to Peter Andrews for supplying me with a lot of this information. He and I did do a bit of research on this last week. So donated to the Turin local museum in 1931. Now, what's a holy dollar? They were made in New South Wales in 1813 from Spanish colonial 8 reals. The local governor, the governor of New South Wales, who I think was Governor Macquarie, wanted to maintain currency in the colony. So one way of doing that is to actually deface circulating currency and give it a value above face value to keep it in the colony. So what they did was they punched the middle out of Spanish colonial 8 reals and then counter-stamped the ring, which became the holy dollar, and the thing that was taken out of the hole in the middle was called a dump. They valued that at 15 pence. Now, the holy dollar is probably one of the most desirable Australian coins that there is, and they can sell anywhere from $50,000 to $500,000. There's only about 200 or 300 known. Now, this particular one that we're talking about was struck on a Mexican minted 1777 coin, so that's what's called the host coin, and it is unusual in that the counter stamp is very strong. It is a lovely example of the particular coin. Now, I've never seen a real holy dollar, so I'm just going on the pictures here and hearsay. Now, the definitive work on holy dollars was by Walter Mira, and it's called The Holy Dollars of New South Wales, a pictorial record of known surviving specimens. So this particular coin is actually in that catalogue, and it is mentioned in that catalogue that it was sold at auction in 1914. Now, sometime between 2011 and 2016, hundreds of coins go missing from the Turin District Museum, including this particular holy dollar. And it's interesting that none of the sources online really give a better date than 2011 to 2016. And I've seen reports of anywhere between 200 and 300 coins going missing and 800 coins going missing. What does that suggest? Well, we'll talk about that later. So this 1777 host coin Holy Dollar then appears at auction in 2016 at a German auction house, and on an estimate of about 25,000 euros, it ends up selling for 280,000 euros, or sorry, I just can't make out what it says there. It's either 220 or 280,000 euros, which is the best part of $350,000. So that coin then has sold in 2016. There's no trace of it then until 2022, when it shows up on an Australian dealer's website, and it was listed at 525,000 Australian dollars, and it sold. So that reappeared in 2022 on an Australian dealer's website, where it sold for over $500,000. So we're not talking about small amounts of money here. In that same year, in 2022, Polish authorities were notified that the particular coin had resurfaced on the market. So it was missed in 2016, but in 2022 its presence was noted, and then after an investigation, the Australian Federal Police seized that coin in August last year from a collector in Perth, and just about 10 days ago the Australian government held a formal ceremony in Canberra where the coin was handed back to the Polish government. So quite an interesting turn of events there for an Australian coin. Now, some questions that you've got to ask yourself is, how do coins get stolen from museums? Well, not all museums are big, officially run, strongly controlled institutions such as, the big museums here in Australia. Often museums are quite small and run by a small number of people. And this wouldn't be the first time that someone has, perhaps entered the museum under the pretense of research and unsupervised accessing the collection has pocketed some of those pieces, or perhaps swapped them out for fakes, which has certainly happened at a museum here in Australia, and a similar thing happened at the American Numismatic Society's collection in America several years ago. And the other thing is that often these museums are very small and they don't have their items catalogued. So that goes on to the next question, is how did no one know they were missing? If the coins were in storage, and often museums only have a very, very small percentage of their collections on display, and most of it is in storage, and in storage for many years, it is feasible that things could get taken and not noticed for quite a while. Alternatively, they may not have even had the collection catalogued. So what does that mean? It means that when it was donated, it may not have been put in a ledger anywhere, or if it was put in a ledger, the ledger hasn't been computerised, and the museum may simply not have known that the coins were missing until some of them started showing up on the market. Now, this one, as I said, appeared in 2016 at public auction. It's quite easy to find that record online, but no one noticed that that coin was stolen in 2016, but in 2022 it did come up. So it's interesting to think about who's at fault here. We'd say that the collector isn't. The collector's just gone on the provenance supplied by the dealer here in Australia, and there's a good chance that the dealer here in Australia isn't in the wrong either. None of my searching online, and none of Peter Andrews' searching online, came up with a list of coins that had been stolen from this museum in Poland. There's certainly records of coins being stolen, but nowhere does it have a list of what was stolen. So there's no real reason to believe that the dealer here in Australia, or for that matter the dealer in Germany, had any idea that this coin was stolen property. If you look at the known provenance of this coin, until it was stolen, I couldn't find any record of the coin being gifted to the particular Polish museum, and in Mirror's work it does mention it being sold at auction in 1914, and there's nothing after that. So what happens to the collector? It's a good question, and obviously I'm no lawyer, but someone who I do believe knows their stuff has said that the stolen property is a criminal matter, and the police have their stolen property, but the out-of-pocket losses are a civil matter, and that means that the collector needs to work something out with the dealer here in Australia, and I assume the dealer here in Australia will have to work out something with whoever they bought their coin off of. So it's all just a big ugly mess. One thing that I do find kind of amusing is that an iconic and cultural Australian coin has been sent back to Poland as part of their cultural heritage. I do find that kind of amusing. But there you go, some drama in the Australian coin industry. Not the first time something like this has happened, but hopefully it's the last. And it'll be interesting to see in the upcoming weeks and years just what comes with regards to payment and things like that with the particular coin. Right, that's it for today. Let's just see if there's any other people saying hello here. Hello Tony, first time watching live, really enjoy your videos. No worries Tony, thanks for watching. Hello Jason. David says that's so incredible to pay legitimately but then find out it's owned in Poland. That's the way it works, unfortunately. The collector in the US that bought the gold Aydemar coin from auction a few years ago paid $2.4 million and had that coin confiscated from him. And I don't know what's going on with compensation from that. And that coin was bought at a Roman numismatics auction. The head of Roman numismatics, and I'm not suggesting that any dealers involved in the Holy Dollar are at fault, but the head of Roman numismatics has been found to be at fault and has been arrested for that particular action. Hello Peter, hello Shane, hey Dan Tootin, hey JJ and Patrick. Veronica says, I'd be pretty gutted after spending so much money on the coin to have it taken away. Yes, me too. Peter, there are no RAM releases coming up soon that we're allowed to talk about, Peter. And John says, how did they prove that the coin was stolen? I suspect, John, that they have some paperwork in the Polish museum, the local museum that was obtained when the coin was handed over to them in 1931. That would be my guess to prove that it was stolen. As I said, if the coins were poorly catalogued, it may have taken them several years to piece together what was stolen from the museum. And Nelson says that Roman numismatics have since closed down. Yes, they have. That particular action by the owner of that company destroyed that company. So if you look back at some previous videos, we talk about that a few times. Right, that's it for this week. Thank you everyone for taking part. Thank you again to Peter for supplying me with his article about the Holy Dollar. And I hope you enjoyed seeing the Fastbuck wallet. I, for one, am pleased to be able to hold one, even if it is just for a few days. Safe and happy collecting, everyone. Stay safe. As always, if you've got anything you'd like us to talk about in the videos, please send us a message. Because we're not doing the news at the moment, I do have a little more opportunity to do a deep dive into a particular topic. I'm always happy to do that. So just give us a call or send us an email or a Facebook message. Alright, that's it for today. Wrong hand. Bye everyone. Stay safe.